Get comfortable.
Get comfortable. I'm sitting in a folding chair with a wheelchair butt pad.
Hey guys, welcome to our pilot recording for Denied Shifts. My name is Craig, also known as Ripple. I'm owner for Amplify Gaming. This is my co-driver and our lead driver for Amplify, he's Chris, known as TropicalPunch, and he's my co-host here as well.
Hi, I'm awkward.
So this is kind of a spur of the moment, kind of a thing. Like, we just always talk and banter online, and I thought, like, hey, why don't we just do a podcast where we're talking crap all the time, and especially when it comes to racing, we are definitely talking crap all the time. So this is our show, Denied Shifts, obviously named after because we like to get our shifts denied constantly when we're trying to up and down shift deny racing. It's just the greatest thing ever. It happens to Chris more often than it does to me. If anything, what happens for me is I end up clipping the grass a heck of a lot more.
He prefers being a landscaper than a race car driver.
Yeah, I drive a very powerful Porsche 992 that is more of a lawnmower than an actual race car.
John Deere 992. John Deere sponsor us.
It's the most expensive lawnmower ever. But yeah, this is our show.
Same.
This is our pilot recording. Welcome to it. Obviously, it's going to be very rough at the start. We are working out the kinks, trying to figure out where we're comfortable, how we do different segments of the show and whatnot. So, I'm working through the timings as well. 30, 45 minutes, an hour. We'll figure that out when we get there.
Yeah, we will. Oh, man. I am the kink for working out. He's confident. Listen. I'm used to being behind the camera, not in front of it. So
this is also true. Even though both of us have streamed for a bit, we're both actually producers and do producing outside of this. And so, we're used to being behind the scenes, like you said, behind the camera, not in front of the camera, talking to you guys.
Yeah, it's been 4 years since I've done this. This will be fun.
Fun journey. The lightsaber went out.
We already got it.
We already got technical difficulties right away.
All right, well, so we have to go on to the bright lights. Brace.
Oh man.
Yeah, look at that.
This is like going from dark mode to light mode, and look at your face.
I know, this is crazy.
I think you should have just left the light off. Just leave it off.
Back off. Yeah, no.
Go back to dark mode.
Work.
Go back to dark mode.
Incognito. Hold on, wait. There we go.
Oh man. Hey, I'm sorry for anybody's eyes. I may have just got flashed bang like that. But
unfortunately, my cool light disappeared. So you're stuck with this. I know. New house. Kind of, there's nothing in here yet.
As far as racing goes, we just had F1 this past weekend with the USGP in Austin, Texas. Obviously, NASCAR was in Las Vegas as well. IndyCar is on a break. IMSA's on a break. And actually, there was a lot of news for IMSA this week.
IMSA's done. IMSA's season's over, isn't it?
It is. IMSA season is over, but I don't know if you saw, Wayne Taylor Racing announced their two-car lineup for the new Cadillac. Now that they're back with Cadillac and GM Racing, they just announced their new roster or driver lineups for both of them. Obviously, the brothers are back with their dad.
Chip, there's a new driver going to Cadillac for WEC too.
Oh, really? Who's going?
Saw an article today. Let me get the names because they have it on their Instagram. They posted it on their Instagram. Let me find that real quick.
They're not going to Wayne Taylor Racing though, right? Because they just announced that roster.
Unless Chip Ganassi is also the number 2, the blue Cadillac, then. All right, here we go. The WC posted this today. Official announcement for new rookie lineup. We have, and these rookies are going to be doing the testing for Bahrain.
Yeah.
So we have Frederick Vesti for Cadillac Racing. Theo, oh wow, that's a long last name. Porsche, I'm going to butcher this. Theo Porsche for Peugeot. Victor Martins for Alpine and Arthur Leclerc for Ferrari. I guess Ferrari needed their Leclerc in endurance racing as well as their Formula One teams. They need all the Leclercs.
Wait, so then my question when it comes to WEC is who's running the Cadillac program? Because it sounds like Chip Ganassi's not doing it anymore.
If that's not, unless it's Cadillac, like GM itself is running it.
They're doing a factory program for WEC? That's new. And I'd be surprised if they did a factory program like that, like just their own. I mean, Chip Ganassi was the factory program anyway, so.
Hello. All right. Well, I hope you're sitting because get this. I just Googled it because I thought it was a factory. However, Hertz Team Jota will run Cadillac's FIA World Endurance Championship Hypercar program starting in 2025. Next season. Hertz Team Jota is taking over. So that must mean.
Wait, that's a shock. Jota's taking over.
It was Chip Ganassi. So Chip Ganassi was in WEC and IMSA for the number 3 and number 2.
Yes.
Which means Hertz team is taking over Chip Ganassi's Cadillac in the World Endurance Championship. And now we're getting Wayne Taylor Racing in IMSA. Oh!
But that also means Jota has dropped Porsche, which makes you wonder, are they going to drop Porsche in IMSA? Because they were also a Porsche aligned team.
Their Porsche driver, there was multiple announcements today for drivers and stuff happening for Bahrain. The Porsche driver going by the name of Andre. Oh, wow. He's got a really long last name too. Oh, wow. That can't be French, right? Lottier? I can't say his name, but it's Andre, who is for Porsche in the WEC. I'm not sure if it's Hertz or Jota because Penske Porsche. No, he would be driving for Penske Porsche. Penske's in IMSA and WEC, but Hertz Team Jota ran Porsche. I wonder if they're dropping Porsche.
They were LMDH. Yeah, they were LMDH Porsche team for WEC, and I swore they ran some IMSA races as well, but I could be wrong. It's been a while since we've seen Jota, anyways. I guess so.
So I guess they're dropping. I guess they're dropping out of the Porsche program and moving to Cadillac.
Which is strange that they do that, especially after Porsche just wins the freaking manufacturer or the constructor championship in IMSA, and did they win it in WEC as well?
Ferrari, I think, won that this year or last year.
This year.
Well, they're not done yet. They still have one more race, unless that already happened.
Oh, you're right.
Bahrain. They got Bahrain left. They should have one more, and that should be coming up.
And that should be the championship decider.
Yes. Yeah, that'll be the end for the WEC calendar. Bahrain is November 2nd, so they still have one more race. That's happening in like a week, maybe less than a week.
What does the points look like? Let's see.
So they are ending their season.
See, manufacturer championship. Porsche is number 1 right now in the manufacturer championship. They have 161 points. They got a 10-point lead over Toyota. So it could swing either way when we come to Bahrain, but
Toyota, Porsche. If Porsche wins IMSA, which they did.
They won IMSA.
Porsche won IMSA. If Porsche wins WEC, then does that make them a dominant team for the season? Because they won both.
And isn't this is not their first season, I don't think.
No.
This is season 2 for them. Yeah, I mean, to come out in season 2 and just dominate all endurance racing like that.
Yeah. Damn. I'm going to be honest. I haven't watched much of the WEC since 24 Hours of Le Mans. That was probably the last race I watched.
The last one I watched was Coda, the Lone Star.
And
Le Mans.
I missed the Petite Le Mans, which I'm kind of depressed about, but I have it on Peacock, so I'll have to go back and watch it. But I do know I spoiled it for myself that Porsche won on Instagram because Penske Porsche posted about it.
Of course.
That they won. But yeah, no. So we're getting two large team names moving to Cadillac, which is I kind of want to know what they're going to do with Cadillac in 2025 to make it more competitive than what it is. That's what I'm wondering.
They definitely need to do something to make it more competitive across the board because the engine sound is amazing.
I said turbo V8. That's what. Listen, naturally aspirated is great and all, but it's not hot all the time. Especially when they race at night, it gets cold. Turbos work better in the cold. Porsche shines at night. Porsche is better at night.
Didn't we see during Le Mans that the Cadillacs were doing so much better because of the colder weather? It was the Cadillacs and BMWs that were like so much faster. I swore Porsche, because they're both natural. They were both naturally aspirated, and their times were faster. They were having to catch up a lot.
Yeah, but Porsche was able to rip the lead from them in the early morning, and typically turbos work better with cold air. With cold air intake with the turbo, it's just so much. They get more power out of it. Naturally aspirated is better for when it's warmer because the air is thicker, which doesn't really work well with turbo. So naturally aspirated is great part of the time, but I think they should go V8 turbo. I don't think they should lower the cylinder count. Keep the cylinder count V8. Keep it V8 because that's literally the engine that GM knows how to make. They make V8s.
But
stick to the V8.
Is that within the homologation as well for IMSA and WEC for them to do that?
I don't know. I know that, what is it? V6 turbo is yes. V6 turbo is a yes. And I don't want to say V4 because I know that the LMP1 Porsche was a V4.
Because it's naturally aspirated. Then there is hybrid.
Well, they're all technically hybrids.
No. Well, kind of, but
yeah.
But there's a hybrid powertrain that Toyota uses as well, and
GM better not use that. They're not very good with electric.
No.
In my opinion, when it comes to that.
And that's the thing. Like, it's the different powertrains and the way they distribute tire energy and such, or energy to the tires. It's been different. Like, okay, we're talking about naturally aspirated. We saw BMW dominate Indianapolis. They went 1-2.
Yeah.
And that was naturally aspirated. That's equal to Cadillac in a sense.
So then what does Cadillac need to be at the pace of BMW? If they're both running a naturally aspirated engine and temperature doesn't seem to play a factor because the BMWs literally mollywop the grid. 1-2.
And BMW, we saw like they're late in their development, obviously, with their cars. So that's why later in the season we saw them faster than what they were earlier in the season.
So then at what point is it, okay, well then if this naturally aspirated engine is within regulation, this is as far as we're pushing it within regulation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then is it the driver at this point? What is it? Because if BMW could be dominant at Indianapolis with a naturally aspirated engine versus a turbo engine like the competitors, but Cadillac seems to fall short every time.
And the other thing we have to think about is WEC and IMSA, the way they do their balance of power is totally different between the two. There is some homologation differences between the two series as well. Like we see the same thing with GTD or in a sense GT3 class. There's a difference between the cars in WEC and in IMSA, a slight difference.
Yeah. But then what does Cadillac need to do to remain competitive? Because at Le Mans overnight, when I woke up in the morning, they were leading. Great. Why can't they keep the lead? What happens?
And see, that's my point. The naturally aspirated does great. The naturally aspirated does great at night because it's straight up cold air coming into the intake.
I wonder if you could do a turbo V8, considering I think Chevy or GM was trying to move from the Z06 program for GT3 to the ZR1 program. The ZR1, when they released it, went from what they were saying was an in-plane V8, right? That's because they were trying to mimic the IMSA car and the WEC car. They're trying to mimic the build. But then right before they released it, they decided to go V8 twin turbo. And that's pushing 1064. from factory with 1,400 pounds of downforce. So I'm wondering if a case could be made, or maybe, I don't know if it's like official. I don't know if it has to be, if you're doing a V8, it has to be naturally aspirated. I'm wondering if they just go naturally aspirated because it's honestly one less thing to break in the V8. It's one less part to go wrong. I don't know, but I think Cadillac's calls at Le Mans were terrible. The pit calls were terrible. I think that really shot them in the foot because they were leading. Then they called them, but they called them way too late. When the people in front of them pitted, they should have pit to stay behind them, to stay with them. They pit, you pit, but they didn't. They pit after, way after. And the other teams came out with fresh tires.
So, well, yeah, and here's the other thing. When you compare it to BMW, which is the other naturally aspirated, or supposed to be naturally aspirated, it's a V8 twin turbo as well, but it's also hybrid. And this is the LMDH.
Yes. So if they can do a V8 twin turbo in the BMW, if that is legal, why can't Cadillac move from the naturally aspirated to twin turbo?
Yeah, and let's see. Cadillac's is 5.5 liter, 90-degree V8, naturally aspirated. No hybrid technology attached to it.
I honestly think they need to. I get it. GM makes a great V8. I don't listen. If people watch this and they go, "Well, that's bullshit." GM sucks. Screw Chevy, screw Cadillac, screw GM. I'm a Ford guy. I'm a whatever guy. Listen, GM's been making V8s for freaking years. Years. It's the engine they know how to make. Why they're not incorporating technology to be on par with their competitors and they're just relying on the V8 naturally aspirated is beyond me at this point. Their competitors are incorporating hybrid. Their competitors are adding twin turbos. Why isn't Cadillac stepping up? Why? It's the one thing I feel like. The engine sounds phenomenal. Best sounding engine on the grid. Car looks great. Awesome. The driver's pretty good. Sebastian Bourdais is probably my favorite driver. He did Chip Ganassi's number 3. Probably my favorite Cadillac driver is Bourdais. But every time I see them leading, they always fail. Well, I forget the other. What's the guy for number 2? Chip Ganassi's number 2. I don't like him. He literally just throws it. Alex something. He just seems to throw it away. That's it. No. Is it him?
I don't know. I don't think.
Oh, hold on.
Alex Lynn?
Yes.
Oh.
He throws it away every time he's in the car.
Oh, Alex Lynn is such a great driver too, though. But yeah.
I don't know. Compared to Sebastian Bourdais, no. Sebastian Bourdais, no.
Speaking of Sebastian Bourdais, I'm going to add a tangent here. Sebastian Bourdais is rumored to go to Jota because he is not part of the
WEC.
Yeah, because he's not part of the IMSA lineup for Wayne Taylor Racing. I don't know
he's going to go.
I don't know if you saw the lineup for Wayne Taylor Racing.
So he's leaving IMSA and going to the WEC, and he's going to drive for Hertz Team Jota in 2025 Cadillac. So I feel like that would be his best move. Why would he change platform?
So the number 10 car, which is basically, Wayne Taylor's primary number and primary car always, it's going to be Ricky Taylor and Philippe Albuquerque. They will do the full season together. And then joining them will be Will Stevens. And who's their 4th driver here? Brennan Hartley. That will be the number 10.
Albuquerque is a really good driver. He's good.
Dude, he was a monster even in WEC. So
yeah, no, that name rings a bell real clear. That name definitely is wow. That's a damn.
And then the number 40, the sister car, is going to be his brother Jordan Taylor and Louis Delatraz full-time. Those will be the 2 full-time drivers. And then joining them will be Alex Lynn, who will be doing all the Michelin Cup endurance races. And the 4th driver You're gonna be surprised by this. Well, not really, because he always joins whenever it's Wayne Taylor racing, especially the Daytona 24. It's Kobayashi in the number 40 car. So
wait, they changed the numbers, or did they carry the numbers over from the Acura?
The 40, no, they carried over the numbers from the Acura. Okay. The 10 car is always Wayne Taylor racing throughout all the years, even when Wayne Taylor was Pontiac, GM Pontiac in the early days.
They're always just, God, it looks so pale on camera. So yeah, they're always just number 10. I just looked at the stream, I was like, damn, I'm pale.
Yeah, it's like your light turned off. They've always been they're always number 10. Number 40 is that secondary number that gets rarely used.
Wow. All right.
But yeah, I mean, that's their driver lineup. So Sebastian Bourdais and all them didn't have anywhere to go.
I mean, Sebastian will do well in the WEC. He's far more aggressive than a lot of the drivers in the WEC. I think he's very aggressive when he's driving, and it's great. Like, when he passes, he's going to make that pass. And if he doesn't make it, he's going to be tailing you until he does take the pass. So I'm hoping Hertz Team Joda and Wayne Taylor can do something with these Cadillacs so they can start winning more. I definitely think the GM needs a win. Cadillac Racing needs these wins, and I want them to podium at Le Mans next year. Because they're always in the top 5 teams. They're always in like 4th place overall, or they get 5th place in this, 4th place in that, 3rd place in this. The cars prove that you can score. The car scores points. Okay, great. You guys are getting killer lineups in 2025. So what else do you guys need to do to get these cars to win? Cadillac, I want to see Cadillac win Le Mans. That'd be beautiful.
And I think the shocker for me is they let Ricker Zandervan walk, basically. And he will be with Michael Shank Racing in the Acura next year. So I think that was a big shock to me, was you don't have a Rigger anymore. But I mean, what can you do with Wayne Taylor Racing and the lineups they have and the drivers that are loyal to them? Especially, like, you got Ricky and Jordan Taylor, who are both GM drivers in the first place.
Yeah, there's no room. It sounds like he was just pushed. He was squeezed out by a lineup that just doesn't want to leave the team. Yeah, he was squeezed out.
Albuquerque's another GM driver. Alex Lynn's another GM driver. So I don't blame him. There wasn't much room unless he went to WEC. That would be my only thing. But
it sounds like, what do you drive for? It
would have to be Joda, because remember, they're taking over the Cadillac spot, which is where Sebastian Bourdais is being linked to now.
God, yeah, might actually make me want to watch WEC next year just because he's in it.
But this is the weird thing. Like, a lot of these drivers prefer racing in IMSA than in WEC.
No, I know.
And so
I think the racing in IMSA is way more exciting than WEC. WEC just feels too sterile.
It's too long of a season with not enough racing in it. Like, there's too long of a breaks between races. It's worse than the Formula One schedule.
Yeah. Formula One just has more races, but just feels sterile.
Yeah, WEC doesn't have enough. They have, what's the total? It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 8 races.
Yeah, that's it. 8.
And granted, yes, they're all endurance races. Like, they're 8-hour races. You got 1 24-hour race in the middle there, but
which is literally the only race that most people give a crap about is Le Mans anyway.
Yeah, with WEC,
it's the race,
And the one endurance series that is doing really well is the 24-hour series, which is basically an all-spec GT3 class race series.
I was watching WEC up until Le Mans, and then after that, I'm just like, the breaks are too long. I'm just not retaining an interest.
Yeah.
IMSA I watched a lot more than WEC, but I also find the IMSA races are much more exciting, much more aggressive, much more there's more action. There's I feel like there's just less action after they took out LMP2 for WEC. There's less cars in the grid, so there's less action. There's less things really to watch. IMSA, God bless them, they kept the LMP2. And they have 2 classes of GTD. So you're looking at a grid far more diverse. There's more to see. If there's nothing really going on in this section, you still have 3 other sections.
Yeah.
I just wish WEC didn't get rid of LMP2. I don't see why they got rid of it. I don't know why. They're just like, you know what, we're going to copy IMSA, but they didn't. It's like they copied their homework and half-assed it. They're like, oh, we're going to go from GTE to GT3. Okay, that's great. Cool. Awesome. Good work. But why'd you get rid of LMP2?
They had to change everybody else. But yeah, LMP2 is the weird one because I get it. It's an old class. They haven't done any changes to LMP2 in, gosh, who knows how long. Like
no need
that,
to change perfection.
Yeah, that homologation for LMP2 has not changed in forever.
Yeah, but that shouldn't be a reason not to keep it. Oh, it hasn't changed. All right. But yeah,
I agree. Like, cool. I get it. The technology is old, blah, 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 whatever. Like it's cost efficient too, because the car counts and whatnot were different. And the marketing behind it was pushing LMDH or hypercar. But it's, I don't know. Like IMSA made the right move by getting rid of LMP3. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Pushing that down to the Michelin Pilot series, or what are they? Oh, what is that series called? Is it Michelin Pilot? No.
The VP Challenge.
Yeah, VP Challenge. That's that series, that new series that they made. I agree with that move, but I question WC with getting rid of LMP2 as well. Like not seeing LMP2s at. I mean, did
any of the regular seasons? They did. That's the only race the WEC is allowing them to participete in is Le Mans.
Okay, so yeah, and then not seeing them in any other series, it's weird. Like even as even as iRacing drivers, like it's weird not having LMP2s on the grid with
LMP2
with the GTPs and GT3s.
Yeah.
So
the LMP2s add more to the race than people think. People go, well, the old car, these new GT3s and hypercars are exciting. Okay, but the fact that these LMP2s, the grid for the LMP2 alone is so competitive. What? You got rid of competition. It might have been its own competition. Sure, it can't beat hypercar, but it's certainly faster than GT3. But the competitiveness on the LMP2 grid is like, come on.
And look at IMSA. Like it's one of the biggest challenges is having a third class out there, in a sense, a second class though, that to navigate through, like 3 different classes and at 3 different speeds navigating each other, and they perform completely different in a sense. So like, it is definitely weird.
I think FIA should just stick to Formula One. I feel like they know Formula One. They understand the formula for Formula One. They got that. But when it comes to endurance races, the IMSA counterpart literally is just... they're dancing circles around the FIA when it comes to endurance racing. They just dance circles around them. The races are far more exciting. And Le Mans is more interesting because IMSA gets to race in that race. All endurance racing is there. Cool. So now you're bringing in the IMSA drivers to the WEC, and you can tell the difference between the IMSA drivers and the FIA WEC drivers with how they drive. The aggression from IMSA versus the passive, sterile, cool. There's Ferrari. We got Ferrari here. We're cool. Okay, cool. You got a Ferrari hypercar. That thing's awesome. That thing's fast. It's won. Great. Cool. Yeehaw. But that's like literally your only thing. Toyota dominates the WEC. Period. Ferrari's just like, we're back after 50 years. Cool. And then the next gimmick was Ford's coming back to WEC, but Ford didn't even make a hypercar to compete with the Ferrari hypercar. I don't even think the GT3 Ford, it sounds great. As cool as the GT3 Ford is, it's like people wanted to see Ford versus Ferrari. if you wanted to see a Ford versus Ferrari in the WEC in 2024, Ford should have clapped back with a Ford GT LMDH. Clap back with a hypercar. Why didn't they do that? Ford GT, bring that back in hypercar form, going against the Ferraris. Oh, there you go. That's how you're going to drum up some American interest in the WEC, or more American interest in the WEC. Yeah, cool. The novelty of Ford returning to the World Endurance Championship to compete against Ferrari in GT3 class is, in my opinion, less than exciting.
Yeah.
That's just the way I feel about it. It's less than exciting. I think it would have blown the socks, or it would have sent like a shockwave. Ford could have made a statement coming back after Ferrari came back with a hypercar. Oh man, it's such a missed opportunity. Instead they went with the Mustang Dark Horse for GT3. Bring back a new current day hypercar based on the Ford GT. The same car that beat Ferrari in the 60s. Oh, come on, man. Ferrari would be quaking in their boots if they had a GT come back in the hypercar class. My God.
But we're also talking about Ferrari having to develop a freaking hypercar in general, just creating a bigger motor.
Yeah, but they did it. Ford should have came back and did it. They wanted to make a statement to make Ferrari be like, whoa, 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 what's Ford doing? That's how you come back. That's how you make a statement saying we're coming back to endurance racing. But no, they were like, hey, guys, we brought the Mustang, the same one you see at the shop right down the street.
The Dark Horse.
We're so cool.
And that's because, let me add another element to this. That's when it comes to Ford, that's because they don't have Shelby anymore, and they don't have Roush.
I thought they still had Roush.
They still have Roush, but Roush's parts and as well as their sport, their motorsports side of it is not as competitive as it used to be. And Shelby obviously is not really creating anything new because Shelby.
They should. That just seems like in my opinion, they came back, but they limp-dicked it. I really think they could have came back with a bang, knowing that their competitor GM, the other American car company, is competing in that class. That's the class that people really care about for GM is the hypercar. Right?
Yep.
So you have your old rival after 50 years, Ferrari, in the premier class of LMDH. Then you have GM with Cadillac racing in that same class. Where are you at? It's like you kind of were like, I'm just going to put my toe in the water. You want Americans to like racing and stuff. You gotta do it big. You gotta do something that's going to draw that attention. And you can't just go, oh, Dark Horse Mustang, that'll do it. No. GM's got Corvette. They got Cadillac. Now, if you want to put the Dark Horse in GT3, sure, do that. But then pull out the GT, the car that people care about. The GT. That's what everyone wants to see.
The other thing right now, I just got a message. I'm wondering if Bahrain's going to happen right now after... Right. Despite... I'm going to give a little notice right here.
Change direction.
Or not change direction, but a little notice on this. Despite your political views on anything that's happening right now, I guess Iran, and this happening right now, Israel's missile strike to Iran's military bases. So that just puts into question what's going to happen in the Middle East, because we're talking about WEC and Bahrain coming up. In 5 days is when that weekend starts. Are we going to see a race happen in the Middle East? We got Formula One as well that has to go back to the Middle East to finish their season.
Abu Dhabi, that's right. Yeah, they end their season in Abu Dhabi. Yeah.
Yeah, and these are all really... they're in the same Gulf as where all this infighting's happening. So I guess...
they finish in Abu Dhabi. Oh, they also have Qatar.
Yeah, so I guess it's a wait and see. We'll see what happens here. But that was just a little tangent side note, and I just got the notice about it as we're recording and streaming this live right now.
Let's wait and see if If it does escalate, then there's no sense. There's no sense in risking anybody's safety.
No, not at all.
Just don't do it. Don't do it. Just can't end the season.
Between the fans and the teams. Yeah.
Yeah, no, don't.
Which is probably a good interjection here or time to move on to Formula One.
Yeah, let's shift topics to Formula One. I'm done ranting about the WEC. As you guys can tell, I keep touching my beard. I keep twitching because I'm nervous as shit. And that's what I do when I'm nervous. I just do this. I do this. Makes it look like I'm pondering, though.
So you did not watch the USGP?
I did.
I
did watch it. Yes.
Thoughts on Ferrari sweeping the podium, basically? Thoughts on that weekend? Because we're still rolling into this week with some news about it.
Time for me to ruin the show. Ferrari winning, I'm okay with. I'm not a Ferrari fan. I'm okay with them winning because if they win, then Lando can't score points. I'll come back to that. I'll circle back to that.
That's another hot topic.
Yeah, I think Ferrari dominating that race from beginning to end was cool, but I think that opportunity arose not because they had a faster car. I think the opportunity arose because of Max and Lando. They're really fighting each other. Because that first turn, right off the lights, Max and Lando went wide. That gave Leclerc so much room on the inside just to run with it while these two fight.
But that's despite Ferrari's pace all weekend in Coda?
Well, they had a good pace, but I don't think they have the fastest car. I think McLaren still has the fastest car on the grid.
And they brought a lot of upgrades that weekend, if I remember correctly.
Yes, they did. I think they had a fast car for the day, but the season, they've progressively gotten here. McLaren went from slow brake management, tire management to fast. And then they've maintained that speed as Red Bull's declined. So I still think McLaren has the faster car overall. I don't know where they're getting the speed. Over Ferrari still. I still think McLaren has the faster car.
Okay.
At this race, Ferrari was faster, but I also think Red Bull and McLaren going at it on a turn one just allowed the space for Leclerc to run with it. Just let him run. That was it. He didn't have to fight traffic. He just said, "Oh, look, doors open. Bye. I'll let you two duke it out. I'm out. See ya." And then the whole race was just Max, Lando, especially towards the end, Max and Lando battling it out. And I don't know. I'm happy that Ferrari did win, though. I am very happy that they won because it denies McLaren points. Those points.
I'll circle back to Ferrari performance when we talk about Mexican GP coming, which is happening right now. But also on what happened in the USGP is the penalties and non-penalties, basically, coming out of that. But you have Lando Norris getting penalized for running wide. You have George Russell also get penalized for pushing someone out wide. And there's the complaint that Max didn't get the penalty with Lando Norris for going wide, or basically in a sense like they both went wide through that corner.
But the wheels on Max's car were still on the blue, were not past the blue line. He was tiptoeing on that line. The stewards deemed it as he was technically still ahead at the apex. And there's no rule, from what I've heard from Max and then the FIA, that there's no rule saying that he's ahead at the apex that he can't go wide. If Lando's on the other side, he went wide and then passed Max after going really wide.
So then what do you think the appeal that McLaren's doing right now this weekend, that we're waiting here I think it's tonight they're going to be reviewing this, because it has to be clear and obvious evidence, and it has to be new evidence to suggest that penalty wasn't warranted to Lando Norris.
But he had track limit warnings throughout the race that we didn't hear about. So he already had his limit. He was capped at his track limits limit already before that turn. I think they're going to fight it. I don't think the FIA is going to overturn the ruling. I think they're going to keep it as is because Lando already had enough warnings about track limits, apparently up until that point, because I think GP fed the info back to Max about the stewards already said he had run his limits with track limits. He's already ran it. At this point, it's just a penalty. He's not like, oh, this is your first time. You're innocent. Okay.
It's essentially forced him to get the penalty.
Right. So, I mean, if this was Lando's first off track or track limits, okay, I can see a huge case for, all right, this is some bull. But since he's already had multiple warnings that they didn't really fill us in on, but we only got that info when GP radioed into Max about that whole debacle in that turn, saying, hey, Stewart said he's going to have to give it back. He's going to get the penalty. You already had too many track limits. That all right. It is what it is, but I do think Max forced it. But it's racing. I also don't think the penalty for George Russell was warranted. I think all the drivers were pushing their cars. They were pushing it. Every incident, I think, was hard racing.
And it's COTA. We see this all the time in COTA where cars are just sliding off track. Like they have to use it because it's so tight. And it's not a Formula One isolated thing. Like we see NASCAR do the same thing. We see IndyCar do the same thing. Like they're all basically breaking track limits just to keep the car on track.
Right. So I don't think the penalties I feel like the penalties that were dished out at COTA this past weekend was very similar to the penalties dished out at Red Bull Ring in 2023. It was just so many penalties for what?
Yeah.
I feel I don't know. I don't think George Russell, as much as I don't care for him, I don't think he deserved that penalty. I don't think he intentionally pushed him off track. Again, I think every incident that happened was hard racing.
So let me play devil's advocate with this because, you know, as Americans, obviously, like we're both from the US. As American fans, we love good we love good hard racing, right? It's why we love NASCAR and IndyCar so much, or even IMSA. Do you think what we saw COTA? Do you think, and this is that devil advocate, because I get it from a European or even international fan base, like they are more rulesy based is the best way I could put it, where they care about the way the rules are outlined and whatnot. And they are very quick to like, oh no, like drivers basically shouldn't touch each other. They should and they should be able to race quote unquote fairly. Do you think that mindset with the FIA takes out the hard racing element that for us American fans we like to see, and we know that that is a thing? Like them penalizing Lando Norris. Do you feel like that takes away the element of hard racing and now makes Max and Lando think differently how they race each other, because they're having to think about those penalties more than being able to actually hard race each other all the way to the end for a championship?
Right. Yeah. No, I think as the word I used previously when we were discussing the FIA and the Endurance Series is, even with the FIA and F1, is it seems like in some other races, when this happens, they turn a blind eye for some reason. But then when it comes to like last weekend, they're just throwing penalties out left and right. But like I said, I think I used the word that FIA's racing is too sterile. It's racing. The drivers are in their cars. It's the heat of the moment. And if they need to avoid a crash or a collision by going wide, and if that means they go off the track, okay, he avoided a collision. That keeps the race going. However, I guess in that case, then Lando didn't. I guess he didn't necessarily deserve the penalty, but if he had a bunch of other warnings from the stewards about track limits, then yes, that's from what we hear, that he had a bunch of other warnings. But I do think that still, even though he went wide going into that turn, he avoided a collision, which is great. No one got hurt. Racing can continue. He still needed to give back the position to Max, which he did. He would still have needed to give back the position regardless of penalty or not. Or better yet, his team, which, hot take on this, I'm sure a lot of other people would agree, that his team should have told him to give back the position before the stewards issued a penalty. They should have told him, give it back, and then try to take him on the next lap. Try to take him on another turn.
Yeah.
Give it back and try again. But he held on to it until he got that penalty. That's something that bothered me, was McLaren didn't just say, okay, you overtook him going too wide, give him back the position, and then just try to take him again somewhere else. Take him again on another part of the track.
Yeah.
They let him hold it until that penalty was like, hey, until the stewards basically said, give it back. Here's a penalty. Enjoy that.
They basically forced the stewards to make a decision for them.
Yes, versus just saying, hey, Lando, give him the position back and then take it again.
Race it back. Yeah,
race it back. Just take it.
Because honestly, I think Lando would have beat Max Verstappen if he just gave the spot back. As many, if you're in the US, you're watching the ESPN, which is the Sky Sports version. I think it was Haroon had said that on Sky Sports, that if Lando had just given the position back with the pace he was running, he would have passed Max again, and we wouldn't have had this issue.
Yep. I just don't want to see Norris win the championship. I don't think this year is his year. I honestly don't think he deserves it. I feel like he got gifted the upgrades they gave to the McLaren made that car a rocket ship. It just fucking rips. It's great. But as a driver, I think Lando hesitates too much, and for some reason, he seems to be scared to battle Max when it comes to side-by-side racing. When it comes to overtaking, he seems to be hesitant depending where he's at on the track. But like, for example, turn 1, Lando could have held that, but it seems like he was nervous and then he kind of just choked. Max and him both kind of whiffed turn 1, giving Ferrari the, hey guys, here you go, see you later, nerds.
I mean,
so I don't think Lando as a driver deserves to win the championship. I do think McLaren at this point, with how they've upgraded the car, although I think some of the upgrades are a little sus, but if the FIA hasn't deemed them illegal, then whatever. They deserve the Constructors' Championship for sure.
Well,
for sure.
It's not that they didn't deem them illegal. They just are turning a blind eye to it because they're saying, oh, it's too late in the season to fix the homologation on that and everything else. And it's like, we still got several.
I'm saying it's a little sus.
Yeah, like we had plenty of time from when we were talking about those flexi wings to now. Like, they had time to fix that and make the parts for that. It's not like we haven't seen that before, but.
Or the extra ventilation on the wheels for cooling the brakes that they covered up in tape. Come on. I saw that when the car was sitting in the garage. They had a camera shot of the car, and I looked at the wheel and I was like, is that a piece of tape covering a hole? Why is there a piece of tape here? Your brakes all of a sudden get better, McLaren. I don't know about all that. Like I said, I think McLaren's upgrades are sus. They're pretty sus.
I'll give them credit for innovation, though, because we are missing that in Formula One a lot, too, is the innovation part of it.
Yeah, I'm not going to discredit that their innovation isn't good. Their innovation is great because it's working. It's simply working. So Constructors Champions this year, I could see McLaren taking that. Sure. Yeah, sure. I think Red Bull had their car went to shit after the FIA deemed one of their braking systems. So there was something with the braking system to be illegal, and they said, nah, this can't happen, which is what made the Red Bull such a piss missile, and it was able to manage its tires for so long. They removed it from the car, and ever since, he's always had braking issues. Oh, I have no tires anymore.
Yeah.
They got rid of that, and Red Bull just declined. Max, I think, is literally doing his best to drag that shit box across this, just to drag it through the rest of the season and place as high as he can. I honestly think he's doing his best with what he's given. And if it's just, I think he's doing the best he can. McLaren deserves the Constructors' Championship. Max should just win. Max should finish out the season, do the best he can, maintain the points as far as he can from Norris, win the 4th title, and then next year we'll see where the cards fall. At this point, it's 4 or 5 races left in the schedule?
Yeah.
We have Mexico, Brazil, 5 races left. Mexico, Brazil, Las Vegas, Qatar, and Abu Dhabi. And that's if Qatar and Abu Dhabi even go off due to the climate out in the Middle East. So at this point, I think the hard racing, the FIA needs to allow the racers to have hard racing. There's obviously a limit on how hard you can race.
Obviously, for safety reasons.
There has to be a limit. Yes, there has to be a limit for safety. But I think that the FIA operates. It just seems like they operate in favors of certain drivers at certain times. That's the way it feels like to me. Now, I like Max. I don't care for Red Bull, the team. I care for more about Max because he's an iRacing degenerate like me. So I got to root for the iRacing, the iRacing guy. Got to root for the home team. But yeah, I don't think. I just think the Austin GP was a joke. It was like Red Bull 2023, Red Bull Ring 2023. Just penalty, race sterile. Don't like. I don't know.
And I think we're getting to the point where we're noticing this with COTA. It's just constantly like this, which is sad because it's a great racetrack. It's just it's really tough, or it's hard racing constantly there. And I think
it's the only track that runs in counterclockwise too.
Yeah, and I think it just caters to the American community, American race fan in that sense. Hot takes.
The Europeans don't like it.
Yeah, hot takes. Alex Albon, you put this on our script, and you said a hot take is Alex Albon will get fired from Williams.
Yeah, I think he should step away from Williams. I honestly think he should step down from Williams. Here's my reasoning. I have one name that literally defeats anyone's argument about how Alex Albon should stay. Franco Colapinto. Done.
All
Franco came from F2, has been outperforming consistently Alex Albon. Now, I think people who like Alex Albon have those rose-tinted glasses of when Logan Sargent was on the team, and Logan Sargent was god-awful for an American driver. Terrible excuse for an American driver in Formula One. I think there's far better drivers that could have replaced him that were American that could have done way better.
And Alex coming from Red Bull over to Williams.
Right. But if you think about it, the only comparison to Alex we had up until Franco was Logan. And that's not saying much. So Alex is always going to look better than Logan. He always outperforms Logan. That's just a fact of the matter. However, after Logan was fired and they brought in Franco has consistently outperformed Alex. And it's showing you how Alex really is compared to rookie driver from Formula 2 filling in a seat for the rest of the season. His debut race, Franco scored points. Franco scored points his next race. Well, Alex hasn't done anything. And you can't blame the car. They're driving the same car. Franco's driving Logan's car.
So, all right. And this is the developing rumors. And it's basically kind of like almost being confirmed now after, what's his name? Team principal for Williams.
Oh, God.
I just blanked on his name.
Me.
Yeah,
Justice for Gunther.
Justice for Gunther. Oh, jeez, I just blanked on his name. But he was on Sky Sports, and he couldn't comment on the rumors of Franco going to VCARB. But he did say there's negotiations in the work right now.
James Vowles.
James Vowell.
Okay, there we go.
Colapinto going to VCARB. So here's what the current rumors are what's happening right now. Is Colapinto's linked to VCARB, to the VCARB seat with Sonoda.
That's not why Sonoda? Oh, God.
He's staying in VCARB, obviously, longer. Because Carlos Sainz is coming to Williams either way.
And I think that would be the best driver lineup for Williams. Carlos Sainz, Franco Colapinto.
Which if they keep Alex Albon, it's going to be the first real test for Alex with a teammate that's arguably faster than him.
Coming from Ferrari. Yeah.
The other rumor that has grown and been stirring this past week or going into Mexico GP is Liam Lawson is going to Red Bull. And Perez,
wait, that's a thing?
And Perez is out for 2025.
Wait, that's a thing. Liam Lawson to Red Bull?
That is became a thing. It's a huge rumor in the garage right now.
Yeah.
Checo Perez, we don't know where he's going to be. Even though he has his contract with Red Bull that's been extended, Liam Lawson apparently is linked to coming to Red Bull to be teammates with Max Verstappen. Where does that leave Checo? Does Checo, like, if we say that Alex Albon is out, as you say, or
I
I
hope Williams can see this. They can see this.
Is that an opportunity for them to go pick up Checo Perez and put Checo Perez and Carlos Sainz together?
I don't.
Were they teammates before? I'm trying to remember, top of my head. Were they teammates at Racing Point?
Not unless, I don't know about Racing Point. I was going to say the only thing I remember is Checo was on Alpine for a bit. Then he got the Red Bull. And then Carlos was on Red Bull, I think, with Max. Was it? Yeah. Wasn't Carlos on the team with Red Bull with Max, or was he with Vettel? Because Carlos was on Red Bull's team at one point in his career. He went from Red Bull. He went from what? Red Bull to McLaren. Or was it McLaren to Red Bull? I forget the order. But I genuinely don't know how to feel about that rumor. I would hope that Williams does everything in their power to keep Franco there.
Sorry, they've never been teammates.
Okay.
Just to add into that, but yeah. I think they keep Franco still.
They have to. He's literally been the one scoring the most points for them.
Actually, no. I take that back. I think Franco is going to move to V-Carb. Because that's an opportunity for him to chase that
Bull seat.
Yeah, Red Bull seat there. Because Liam Lawson, this is going to be his one big test. Even though, like, isn't he a Mercedes driver in the first place? That's going to be his one big test. Am I wrong? See, I don't. These contracts have confused me in the last year. Who's partnered with who now? And I don't know where Alex Albon is with his Red Bull contract.
Alex Albon, he doesn't have it. He also doesn't want it.
He doesn't want that junior, or he doesn't have the junior contract or whatever that.
Yeah, he wouldn't go back to Red Bull. I don't think he would ever go back to Red Bull, even for V-Carb. I don't think he would ever go back.
Yeah, so I mean that's the thing, like, because V-Carb seat is still open, we don't have a confirmation on it, and apparently there are rumors that have been. It was confirmed between FP1 and FP1 and FP2 broadcasts that he is linked to that V-Carb seat. Lawson is possibly going Red Bull. Where does that leave Checo Perez? Like, in a sense, like, that puts your question up with Alex Albon. Where does he go? And where does Checo go?
Because but I think Carlos is
confirmed for that Williams seat. So basically, there's going to be a second Williams seat that's going to be open.
Well, that's if they whack Albon. I don't think they're going to. Then that means Checo doesn't have a seat. But why wouldn't? I mean, I guess also why wouldn't Williams, if they had a plan to? I don't know how long Albon's contract is, even if it goes in the next. I don't know if they end up parting ways with Albon. I don't see why Williams wouldn't want Checo to fill that seat coming from a Red Bull.
Especially since Checo is really technical savvy and is a big driving force to developing race cars for all the teams he's raced for. Thing.
If he does get on, say if this in this fantasy land, Albon gets, they part ways with Albon.
Yeah.
Checo goes to Williams, Liam goes to Red Bull, Franco goes to V-Carb. Carlos obviously is guaranteed his seat at Williams. That ain't changing.
Mm-hmm.
Say in this fantasy world this actually happens. Would we see another Max and Checo in Williams? Because Carlos is faster than Checo.
You're saying Verstappen going to Williams?
No. Like the Verstappen-Checo situation they have at Red Bull now, right? Max is like fast. Checo's always dealing with the bullshit Red Bull's giving him. Yep. Even though he cares about the tech of the car and testing stuff. If Checo went to Williams, Carlos being seat 1, Checo being seat 2, wouldn't that just be reliving the Red Bull with Max? Because now you have Carlos, who's a faster driver. and then you have Checo testing for Williams again.
Yeah. Well, and
I think the team dynamic would be better. Carlos would definitely be a better teammate to Checo than Max is. But wouldn't we just see? Yes, we're going to put everything for Carlos.
They've over the years they've had a ton of run-ins with each other.
Oh, Carlos and Checo?
Yeah. Those two constantly collide on track. So that's my only other thing, because they're almost on equal grounds performance as well. Sergio Carlos is younger.
Yes.
Than Checo, and they both came out of the Red Bull Junior program as well.
Yep.
But it would be interesting to see them together as teammates. I think that's a fantasy team. I don't think that's going to happen.
But I also just don't know if the dynamic would be. I guess I don't know if people would have their cake and eat it too, going, well, Checo's going to leave Red Bull, go to Williams with Carlos. Okay, this happens. Are we going to see anything different? That's the kicker. What are we going to see that's different? I honestly just think the optimal lineup would be to part ways with Albon. Franco, Carlos together. Oh my God. Franco and Carlos together. I would be a Williams fan in a heartbeat if that was the lineup. I would just move right to Williams.
I was a former Williams fan. I got to hold my hat down. I got a Montoya hat in the back there when it was Williams BMW.
So we have the budding Franco, the experience of Carlos.
Actually, I have a Mick Schumacher hat too.
Those two drivers are fast. They both are very competent in the vehicle. Franco's proved that in his debut and the last couple of races. He's proved it. He's competent in that F1 Williams vehicle. He's got a grip. He seems to have a handle for it. Checo, if they do part ways with him, all right. So then you would just keep it as is. So actually, the lineup would change, because then that would leave that would just wait. So Franco's rumored to go to VCarb, Liam's going to Red Bull, and then that leaves Carlos Albon. So if you got rid of Albon, it would be Carlos Franco.
No,
Liam,
if, like we said, Franco's going to VCarb.
What if he did? I just hope he doesn't. I know he wants that coveted Red Bull seat
over the Mercedes seat, which is true. We don't know what's going to happen with that, because we know Russell's probably going to be there for a bit.
Yeah, Russell's going to be driver number one,
but
Lewis Hamilton's going to Ferrari. But they're already focusing on Hamilton. Not Hamilton, Russell.
But his teammate next year, I think, isn't going to be able to last long with Russell.
The backup driver? Isn't that who they're going with?
Yeah, that's their confirmed driver for next year.
Yeah, I think he'd be fine with
what's
Russell.
What's his name? Anatoly. Andreas Kimi Anatoly.
I think he'd be okay with Russell.
I'm probably saying it wrong, and I'm sorry, Italians, that I'm saying his name wrong.
Sorry. Us smooth brain Americans can't pronounce these fancy European last names. It really it's like a tongue twister. Sorry. Our bad. The education system failed me. I honestly think Red Bull should keep Checo. I know they're probably not. I think Red Bull should keep Checo. Liam stays VCarb. Albon gets dropped, and Franco stays at Williams. I think that would be a great lineup. That would be a nice grid. Williams actually has two fast drivers, which could actually make their cars competitive.
Yep. And I guess to your point, like looking at FP1 and FP2 results, like FP1, it didn't help Albon's argument. It doesn't help Albon's argument with the crash that he had with Ollie Berman. But I don't blame Albon for it, because I think Berman was in the way, because he was so much slower coming out of it was at turn 10. I forget what turn that was. And Alex Albon is loaded up. His car is loaded up. And as soon as you get, like, as they made a point with Danica Patrick as well, as soon as you get off the gas, it just makes the car super light. And so that's what caused him to have to snap his steering wheel to the right really fast and then back to the left. And he still collided with the Ferrari. So I guess it does. It didn't help his argument there. But then you look at FP2, which yes, it was a tire test in a sense for Pirelli the entire period. But the speeds are there when it comes to some of these drivers, like Carlos Sainz, number one.
And this is oh god, my camera just got blurry. And this is FP2 for Mexican GP, right?
Yep.
I'm looking. I haven't watched anything, but I'm looking at the sheets, the timing sheets that you put, and I'm just looking at this. And from FP1, we have what Albon finished 17th. I'm guessing that's because of the wreck with Franco in FP1, right?
Yep.
Behrman, he had that wreck. But if you look at it, Franco is right behind Sergio, and not by much.
No, yeah, he was just out of FP1 for Williams. Before Albon had his crash with Oliver Berman.
Right. And if you look at FP2, it looks like Albon is not even listed. Did he not participate? His car was just gone?
Yeah, they had too much damage. And Verstappen also really didn't participate because they were also still fixing. Apparently he hit some debris. It hit the floorboard.
Yeah, he's got no time on that sheet. But yeah, Franco 15th. But you can see that he progressively got faster from hitting 119 in FP1, and now he's hitting 118s, which is kind of like the middle of the pack. Fastest is 117s.
Which FP2 was a tire test for Pirelli. They were running a 2025 tire, which is supposed to be similar to the soft tire that they're running this weekend, anyways.
I know, but look at that spread though. From what 15th to 1st is 1.2 seconds.
Yep.
That's a blink. He's putting up. Listen, he may have gotten 15th in FP2 for doing a tire test, but 1.2 seconds behind the leader? Dude.
George Russell?
And he's up there with all these other big names too.
And then you got George Russell, who was on top of FP1 and bottom FP2 because he wrecks out. Which again, this goes to that conversation about like what drivers feel safe in their seats, and George Russell
isn't Ocon out after this year? Aren't they parting ways with Ocon and Alpine? I thought they were.
You might be right.
Ocon.
I don't know how many of those seats are actually confirmed, but there's like a starking difference especially with George Russell, because the amount of incidents he has in practices and such.
Ocon's seat is confirmed. He is leaving after the season.
Okay.
Which actually opens up a seat at Alpine. Checo go to Alpine again?
I thought that was okay. Maybe I thought it was filled, but I guess I could be wrong.
I mean, it doesn't say. Oh, that's wild. Ocon will drive for Haas in 2025.
That's right, because it is
Ocon
Magnussen. Or no, not Magnussen. It's Hulkenberg, I think, without a seat.
Yes, but I thought Hulkenberg was without a seat until 2026 when he's going to join Audi. I thought Hulkenberg was moving to Audi. Yeah, Hulkenberg's moving to Audi.
He's going to be developing the Audi car.
Yeah, so he's taken a year off from racing to come back in 2026 to race for Audi.
Yep.
Which I think would be great for him. I think he's a good driver. I just think he's in the wrong car, personally. I think Hulkenberg is a decent driver, and I think he's also really good at defense. Like, really good at defending.
Thoughts on Toyota with Haas, then?
Needed. That's all I have to say. Needed.
Are we looking at the revival of Toyota in Formula One?
We are looking at the revival of Gunther.
Gunther's not linked to this Haas F1 thing in Toyota.
This is for Gunther. All right. But Toyota, I still stand by that. I want Gunther to come back. I think Haas needs Toyota. Haas needs Toyota more than they realize, because apparently there's information coming out about like their simulators at Haas that they have to rent an older model of Ferrari simulator.
Yep.
That's bullshit. No wonder they aren't doing great.
And it's in Ferrari's own factory.
And they have to rent it. Yeah.
No. So, yeah, no.
I think Toyota, Haas, It's needed because now Haas will have the backing from an already established race name, Gazoo Racing. You have Toyota's power unit if they're making one.
They haven't confirmed.
But if they are, you have that Toyota
It's just
power
a technical
unit.
alliance, apparently.
Right. But if you have that Gazoo Racing technical alliance and say they do make a power unit, become a power unit provider, all right, now you're looking at a more competitive car because you have Gazoo Racing, you have the funding from Gazoo Racing, now you have the facilities to have your drivers up to par.
And you got 2026 new rules and regulations coming up. So,
But I heard a lot of people are complaining about that because it actually makes the car slower. Apparently.
Yeah, but I think
apparently,
I guess it's kind of needed so that they could actually race each other. They're going too fast, in in my opinion, they need to make the car smaller. It's too big. It's a
goddamn tractor, man. Come on. They're like, street racing is basically the race happens in qualifying, and then everyone just goes follow the leader for the next 56 laps. Oh but boy, what fun is this?
It's not just street racing. It's their permanent build tracks are doing the same thing.
Cars or boats, they need to be smaller. Bring back V10, V8. What?
V12?
No,
I do like I miss the V10 days and such. But if Toyota returns, we need BMW to return, and we got the glory days of Formula One back.
No, we need Andretti back to Formula. They need to let him in.
Then you're going back to the 80s in a sense. But what I'm talking about the glory days is those V10 screaming engines. You had Renault, Ferrari with Michael Schumacher. You had BMW with Mick Schumacher and Montoya. Renault was Fernando Alonso. You had the Saubers, Toyota as well. Like, oh my gosh, can we get back to those days? Jaguar.
They never coming back.
Yeah,
Jaguar's gone.
They're done. They're done. They're not coming back. But
I just wish the FIA would allow Andretti Cadillac in, let GM back in. I want to see them come back.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I think we'll hear more come Las Vegas.
They're still fighting it, but apparently Andretti, the senior, is apparently, I saw an article that he's stepping down from running it. He's kind of taking like a backseat to run like the internals, but he's taking a backseat to racing.
No, that's Michael Andretti.
Oh yeah,
not Mario Andretti.
He's still going to be a part of day-to-day racing stuff, but he's not going to be.
Yep.
Really,
which is it's an interesting move for him, but I think it's a good move for the company as a whole as they try to push for this Formula One stuff. And Michael's not going to go. He's not going to be far away. Like he'll be there. He'll be back in there. Yeah. At the same time, he wants to take time to raise his kids and spend more time with his daughters who are getting older as well quickly. So while he still has them as kids, like he wants to be able to spend that time with them. So, yeah, I mean, I don't fault him for that, and I think that'll be good. But hey, Toyota coming into Formula One, I think was a good news, and I think this is the start of what we might start to see in Formula One, just like we saw with the whole IMSA WEC regulations with hypercar and LMDH or GTP, where we saw a lot more manufacturers joining. I think we're going to start to see the same in Formula One come 2026 regulations.
Yeah, but I just think that FIA will gatekeep a lot of the competition out. Like, I don't know why they won't allow Cadillac in, but they'll say, hey, Toyota, take over. I mean, I guess Cadillac's not technically, they're not kind of absorbing an existing team per se.
No,
like Toyota's coming to Haas.
Yeah,
Haas is an existing team. They're not putting a new car on the grid.
But that's why I say, like, wait till Las Vegas, because we should get more news come Las Vegas.
I hope so. I would love to see an American manufacturer on an F1 grid.
Predictions for Mexico GP?
Like first, second, and third, like top three?
Yeah. Or any predictions you got?
Just because I'm biased, Max. No, I can't say him anymore. His car is a damn tractor too. Damn, predictions for Mexican GP. Let me look at those. Let me just look at the practice stuff real quick. Let's make a guess here.
I will say this. Okay. I don't think FP1 and FP2 are going to be good indicators for the race. I think it'll be FP3, especially FP2, because FP2 was the entire 90 minutes was a Pirelli tire test.
Okay, so
they had no choice. It's a mandatory tire test for everybody.
Since I haven't really, I'm going to watch FP3. I guess that's tomorrow. I'm going to watch FP3 tomorrow. But based off the timesheets that are here, I'm going to use FP2. And I definitely think the top 3, as much as I don't want to... All right, this is my top 3. I'm probably going to be completely wrong, but I hope I at least get 2 of these. These are my top 3 in this order. But I kind of want to make my prediction to be if any one of these 3 drivers are in the top 3, that's a win for me. Top 3 drivers, I think, will be Max, Oscar, and Carlos.
All right. So I'm going to go off of past experience, past results, and performance. I'm going to say it is probably going to be Carlos Sainz first. Second, I'm going to throw a dark horse. It's going to be a dark horse for sure, because I have a feeling this driver can also win it. I'm going to say Lewis Hamilton in the Mercedes in second. And just because Mercedes has been really strong here. And I'm going to give it to... I'm going to agree with you with Piastri being on the podium, McLaren. I think this is a weekend that Red Bull does not show up on the podium. I feel like this is a weekend when Sergio Perez Checo could be stronger than Max.
Yes. Yeah. All right, hold on, wait. I don't want to redo my top 3. I'm going to commit to my top 3.
I think it's
throw in a wild
Carlos
card?
And Lewis and...
Can I throw in a wild card?
Go for it.
Fernando Alonso. Listen, Mexican GP 2023. No, wait. Am I thinking of a different GP? Am I thinking of the right one? Because what was that GP last year? It was Checo and Fernando battling, and it was like one of the greatest ever. And it was like the last laps of the race, and Fernando took the position away from Checo on the last lap. Right, it was right there.
You know what? I don't remember, but I know what you're talking about. It wasn't Baku, was it?
I don't think
but
so.
But that would be this year. That would be this year with Checo and Carlos Sainz.
No, it was a Mexican GP. It wasn't the Mexican GP, but I would say my wild card pick would be Fernando Alonso for a podium. I would say third.
That is quite a throw. I mean, I don't feel like it's too far of a stretch. Just the way Aston Martin has been performing.
They haven't been performing that great, but I think
the way the car looks
well here.
The way the car looks, and if the strategy works out in their favor, I think Aston Martin, though, for that to work out, I think Aston Martin needs some yellow flags, some pace car.
Man, you have no faith in Sigma Alonso. Oh my goodness.
Sigma
Alonso is my wild card for third.
I just think they need a little more strategy on the Aston Martin side to be able to make that happen. And at the same time, this is Mexico GP. We do see virtual yellows or virtual pace cars and actual pace cars during this race anyway. So there's chances that's going to happen again, and strategy is going to be a big thing for Mexico GP.
I definitely think Red Bull needs the podium here. Red Bull needs a pole position here. They need a pole. They need a pole right now. They already have a gap for the Drivers' Championship, but they need a pole to really lock it in. Ferrari's scoring points now. They scored a 1-2 in Coda. They're pulling in points. So if Red Bull wants to finish this season out strong, they have to podium or pole here. This is it. If Norris, Piastri get a 1-2 here, I would say it's going to be a very, 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 very close call for Drivers' Championship this year. It's going to be a very tight race for Drivers' Champion. I think McLaren has already sealed the deal with constructors. They're gapping Red Bull with the constructors' points. So I think McLaren just has to finish it out doing strong.
All right, let's go to North American racing. NASCAR is in their playoffs. I know you don't pay attention to NASCAR as much, and I do. Mm-hmm. They got 3 races left. They're in Homestead this weekend. Homestead, Miami. Joey Logano clinched his spot into the Final 4 at Phoenix Raceway Championship by winning Las Vegas last weekend. That means there are 7 drivers fighting for 3 more spots in that Final 4. I'm with Homestead. I think you're gonna have a race between Christopher Bell and Kyle Larson for the race win and for that spot before we go into Martinsville. The driver that I feel like could be a spoiler outside of the top 8 in points right now, I think is going to be Alex Bowman in the 48. Right now, Hendrick Motorsports in general is just they're firing on all cylinders, and so I just think they're going to be the strongest of them. That's my picks for NASCAR. I know he doesn't pay attention to NASCAR much. Can't ask him to make a pick.
I'm going to make a pick anyway.
He'll probably give me Dale Earnhardt Sr.
What? Is he there?
No.
I know he died. I don't know. Ask me to make a pick. What am I picking and what?
Who do you got?
I'll make predictions.
Who do you got picked to lock themselves in this weekend at Homestead?
I know nothing about NASCAR. No one take my opinion for anything, but I can gamble here, so I'm going to take...
Joey Logano's already locked himself in from the top 8.
Yep, so he's in, so it's literally everybody else above him. I'm going to say Kyle Larson.
You pick Kyle Larson to win Homestead?
Yeah, well, just lock his place in the next 3 slots.
Yep.
So I guess that means win Homestead.
Yeah, you win, you lock in. I don't see anyone locking themselves in by points this weekend because, let's see, Christopher Bell is plus 42 from the cut line. Kyle Larson's plus 35. William Byron's plus 27 from the cut line. Underneath the cut line on the bubble right now is Denny Hamlin minus 27. Tyler Reddick minus 30. Ryan Blaney is 47 points out. Chase Elliott he's in a must-win position, and he's minus 53 points out from the cut line.
Well, if I had to pick 3 drivers to fill in the last 3 slots, it would be
only pick one. We got 2 rounds left in this round, in the round of 8.
Wait, but there's 3 slots open. Yeah, there has to be 3 drivers to fill, right?
Well, you got Homestead and Martinsville. I gotta explain the playoffs to him. How NASCAR playoffs work.
So what? I only get to pick 2 drivers then. One for Homestead, one for Martinsville.
Well, we could pick Martinsville next week.
Fine. For Homestead, then, I feel like Kyle Larson might be the too obvious one. It'd be too meta. Denny Hamlin. I'm going with that one. Locking in. Denny Hamlin. Locking in.
It's not a bad pick when it comes to Homestead either.
Denny Hamlin. I feel like Kyle Larson is like everyone's expecting him to, but I feel like he's going to wreck. I got a feeling he's going to wreck. Denny Hamlin's going to take it. Locking in. If I'm right, Logitech, sponsor me. I know you're not. Sponsor me. I already bought everything, but you sponsor me anyway.
Well, all right. So he picks Denny Hamlin. I'm going to have to go with... It's hard not picking Kyle Larson when it comes... Kyle Larson, Christopher Bell, and Tyler Reddick both know how to drive on the cushion and against the wall. I'm going to go Kyle Larson. I think it's a do or die for him this weekend because Martinsville, I don't think he's banking on winning Martinsville or having to make it through Martinsville to make the Final 4. So I have a feeling the 5 team is going to come hard for Homestead. So you got Denny Hamlin. I got Kyle Larson. Guess we'll see what happens on the other end. Other news in racing that's happened: Hailie Deegan moving to IndyCar next full season next year. Obviously, I mean, I know you don't know, but Hailie Deegan did lose her seat in the middle of the year in Xfinity. I get it; performance is down for her. She wasn't also in a great program either. I was kind of bitter about it, but that's racing business, I guess. Other sports predictions: we got the Dodgers-Yankees game happening right now. None of us are looking at the results. At least I don't think you are, but you probably, who knows? No. Game one, who do you got? It's in LA.
Game one? Wait, when did they make a prediction? Who's got game one?
Yeah.
And it's against, what is it? New York and?
See, Yankees and Dodgers, World Series.
Yankees and Dodgers. All right, round one, right? Pick a round one winner. Well, I know the Dodgers and the Yankees are historical teams. They've been around forever.
And they're playing in LA for game one.
So LA for game one. I don't really watch baseball. I'm going to have to go Dodgers. Dodgers are playing in... Yeah, I'm going to have to go with Dodgers.
Who's your pick for the World Series?
People are going to crucify me for this. World Series, New York. I got New York. World Series.
New York. In how many games?
Oh, God, they do best of 7, right?
They do.
It's best. Oh, best of 7. Okay, so then that means one of them has to win. What is it? Has to win 4 out of the 7 to take the series, right?
Yep.
If I want it to be New York, they would have to win 4-3. They would have to win 4-3 in the best of 7. Now, do they do tiebreakers? Like no, that can't be a tiebreaker because that would be 3-3, and then the next one wins. Next one takes it all.
Yes.
So it would have to be 4-3 New York.
4-3
but you
New
know
York.
what? No, hold on. Wait. Hold on. I didn't lock. I'm not going to lock in yet. Hold on, because my gut's telling me the Dodgers win 4-3 and take the World Series from New York. Because everyone is always going to be like, oh, yeah, New York, man, New York Yankees. It's the Yankees, brim with no brim. Whoa. So, I don't know. Actually, you know what? I'm going to reverse my decision. I'm going to say 4-3 Dodgers. And Dodgers will take game 1 of the series. Take game 1 of 7. Dodgers will win the World Series 4-3.
All right. So,
I just feel like the Yankees are they're just too, it's like Wonder Bread. It's like I'm gonna pick the white bread team. I think Dodgers.
That's what I feel about the Dodgers. And maybe that's just Angel fans
Really?
speaking here.
Oh shit! I feel like New York Yankees are like, we win so much. I feel like the Dodgers haven't really.
In reality, I don't want either one of those teams to win, but
I mean, I want the Phillies to win, but I don't really watch the Phillies either.
I mean, what you're hoping right now is hockey at this point. So
I like hockey. I don't follow it. I like it, but Flyers won't fucking win anything, and if they do, Philly will actually burn to the ground. Quite literally.
Yeah, I mean, other than that,
that's what Philly says. The saying in Philly is that the Flyers win the Stanley Cup, Philadelphia will burn. Period. Because people want them to win. They've been waiting a long time for them to win the Stanley Cup again. If you thought the Eagles parade and the Phillies winning was bad, wait till the Flyers win. The apocalypse.
I don't know how I feel about the Eagles this year.
That's okay. I don't watch football either. I mean, it's Eagles.
I mean, I'm an Eagles fan, and so I'm a little nervous with the way they've been performing. So,
listen, I went to college in Philly, and all I can tell you is this: Philly sports teams lose in the only way Philly knows how to lose. They lose in the most Philly way possible. That's just the way we go. That's what we do. When we lose, we lose in the most Philly way possible.
All right, so I'm gonna be the anti-pick to your Dodgers winning 4-3. I'm gonna pick Yankees 4-2 though. I think they've wrapped this up in 6 games.
4-2.
But again, none of us are watching game 1 right now. We don't know what the results are. So
wait, is that happening right now?
Yeah, that's happening right now.
I'm just gonna.
He's gonna go peek.
I just want to peek. I just want to peek.
Hey, he said he locked in his pick.
I did. I locked in. I can't change my pick.
In other news, actually, congratulations, you got married. Oh, he doesn't want to talk about that?
Yeah, I got married. She liked it so much, she put a ring on it after, what was it, 7 years? We've been together already? 7 years before marriage?
And 7. Wait, 7 years?
Yeah, we've been together 7 years, and we were in an engagement for 3 years before we got married.
I knew you longer than your guys' relationship. Because Amplify Gaming, we just celebrated, so this month is our 8th year anniversary.
Which means you knew me a year longer. Yep.
Wild. So
I know. It's like
I went through your entire relationship there.
I know. Where's my ring? She got it. She got me one. God, why my fingers are mangled?
All right, so give me some highlights. How was the wedding?
It was good. It was. I couldn't. It was good. I think everything couldn't have gone better. Everything was perfect. The day was perfect. The weather was perfect. Everything just turned out perfect. The venue had that shit down to a science. It was just everything went on. The only hiccup we had was the audio. The DJ had during the ceremony had maybe like a small issue with electric, but they called. I don't know who called who, but the event coordinator was on the phone right away, and before you know it, the DJ was already fixed and set up, and the ceremony went off on time without a hitch. It was flawless.
Oh, nice.
So it couldn't have been a better day. It was just people are still talking about it apparently too.
Oh, so I'm happy for you guys.
Yeah, it feels weird.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Did they win yet? Did my team win? Fuck.
You were in a wine suit. She was in a black and cream dress. So great color choices as well. I got to see the photo. You guys haven't seen it. I'm pretty sure you've posted it on Instagram, on your Instagram.
Yeah, that's black and white. I mean, it's also my lock screen. Oh, well, hold on.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
It's a little bright.
But
why is it so damn bright? This is ridiculous.
Photo is on his Instagram. You guys can follow him. There you go.
There you go.
Other events coming up for iRacing. We have we're waiting on the Fuji 8 hour. That's coming up November 15th through the 17th. We haven't picked a date and time slot yet.
Is it it's the 15th?
November 15th through the 17th. We talked about this. You blocked it out.
No, I know. I forgot it was the 15th. How much should I have been doing the last week? I'm getting married last week, man. I forgot. So the 15th. Oh, yeah. So I got my new...
Weeks. You got a few weeks.
No, I know. No, my cousin and I, who's going to be filling in, him and I have been driving at Fuji practicing. Unfortunately, Major's Garage doesn't have a setup for Fuji, so we're kind of just running it on fixed for now.
Yeah, might as well get the test in.
So yeah, we've been kind of practicing and testing with AI, all this other stuff so far. But I also have new equipment coming, which I'm going to have to practice with for Fuji. So
looks like this is going to be the first endurance race that I'm not going to be a part of.
So you're not going to do it? It's 8 hours.
I thought.
Not going to do it.
I mean, I could drive if you guys want me to. Otherwise, like, this is gonna be the first event that I'm probably just gonna be the crew chief and not driving with you guys. But I know we've been talking about it back and forth.
If that's what you want, that's fine. He's just like, I have to sit for 4 hours, and I'm like, yeah, that's a stand.
Unless we do 2 hour stints. Hey, I don't know. We gotta figure out that strategy and whatnot.
Yeah.
And then at the same time, it depends on his distance. If he can't drive that long of distance, then yeah, I'll step in.
He's never done it. That's the thing. This is his first real.
Oh, dude, we gotta make him. We have to basically wet his ears with Daytona 24 hours.
Oh, he'd cry.
No, I mean, at least you run stints, so yeah. At least you could spread it out and you could schedule sleep times and whatnot. And 8 hours is considered a sprint in a sense in endurance racing, but
no, I know. For me, 4 hours sitting for 4 hours doing my thing is not that big of a deal. For him, this is like his first.
Oh yeah, because we've done it. We've done the 4 hour stints during Daytona.
Mm-hmm. So for me, this is just a refresher. This is fine. This is almost like normal for me. For him, he's never done a real endurance event. So this is like, holy shit! Do I have to drive for 4 hours?
Did I do the longer stint during Daytona?
You did.
I drove.
You pulled the longest stint.
Was it a 6?
I think I was in the middle of it and I was falling asleep and I crashed and you just took over so I could get some sleep.
Yeah, you're starting to get a little aggravated, and so
yeah, I was like, yeah, no, that I can't wait for next year. I want to do it again.
To be fair, that was all of our first major endurance race.
Yeah, speaking of, we're just like, yeah, let's just do 24-hour race on a whim. We've never had any preparation for this. Let's just do it.
I mean, we did the Roar. That was it, but...
Yeah, I did. I like the Roar. That's a sprint, though.
Yeah.
We just said, like, yeah, we could do a 24-hour race. It was fun, though. It was a lot of fun. I'm definitely ready for it next year, though.
Dude, I
know what to expect.
I wish iRacing would do more 24-hour races. I love the long distance. I wish we got Le Mans 24s as part of the iRacing stuff, but
we have to do Majors Garage. Also, Majors Garage is also listing their lineup for next year already for events. They've already started on their website. They started to post here. I actually even have the major series.
I really hope they don't overlap with iRacing schedule because iRacing hasn't posted their schedule yet.
What? Hold on. Let me log in real quick. I want to go over there. They got some interesting races popping up next year. They haven't announced past May. Series MEC. Let's go. Let's take a look.
When did they do Le Mans then?
It would be in June.
Oh, they do it at the same schedule as WEC.
So starting next year, they are hosting a 6 hours of Silverstone. Then they're doing a 4 hour race at Monza in February to March 1st. But I think that's also Daytona, right? Yeah, that's like the start of the motorsport season.
Yeah, March might be Daytona 500. I don't think it would be Daytona 24. I think Daytona 24 would be January, February.
So, excuse me. In December of this year, they're hosting a night race at Nürburgring.
Wait, is it endurance or is it a sprint?
Endurance.
How long?
It doesn't have a time on it.
No, it's 24 hours all night.
No, it wouldn't be 24 hours. I think it's just like all at night. I'm looking at the details.
It has to be like an 8 hour or something.
Race glove designers, sim racers, blah, 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 blah. Oh. Blackout is based on the highly successful and popular Majors 24 annual event. Holy, is this 24 hours?
Blackout for 24 hours? Oh,
yo, dude. No way. Oh, it's 12 hours. Okay, it's 12. It's 12. It's like a little Petit Le Mans thing.
Also, you start with the sun setting and you probably going to finish with the sun.
All through the night.
Yeah. Yep. The sun rising.
I ain't doing that. That's coming up quick, but they have Sao Paulo.
Nürburgring.
I still have to learn that damn track. So they have
I have not been able to adapt to Nürburgring since coming from console to iRacing, basically, or any other racing game to iRacing. I have not adapted to Nürburgring for some reason, even though I have countless hours in Nürburgring in every other racing game.
I haven't even touched. I've touched it once, and I'm just like, I'm scared.
Yeah,
I'm scared.
It is something else on iRacing. It's something else.
They have Sao Paulo 4 hour in March. Then they have Portimao 4 hour in April. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Portimao. I could be butchering that, but it's Portimao 4 hour. That's round 4. And round 5, which is their finale, in May. I don't know how the season works, but it says their finale is May 2nd to May 9th, and it's 8 hours of spa.
I think they do 6-month seasons.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Half a year seasons, I think, or maybe. I don't know. Actually, not sure how their seasons
That's
work.
just, they just marked it up as this is their upcoming event, but I know that the major series, Le Mans, they host that.
But with that, yeah, that is our pilot episode, basically first episode. Deny shifts. You could start denying our shifts right now, like basically with our opinions.
Yeah, trust me. I like to talk, so, and I'm also nervous as shit. So if I'm twitchy, looking around a lot, nervous as shit, sorry. Hopefully it'll be better by episode 2 or by the real episode.
So what we'll probably do is maybe every Friday night we will record or do a live stream of it. I don't know. We have to discuss the day, and then the next day we'll have the recording up. We'll have an edited version of it on YouTube, and that one we'll post it directly to Amp. No, we'll have our own channel. I think.
Post it to Amp. Might as well just post it to Amp.
Yeah, we'll start on Amp's page. We'll just post it to Amp.
Let's just see how it does. We'll see how it does. Let's just see how it does. I feel like you'll get an audience. If the Amp channel has like a little bit of an audience, I feel if you post it there as like a pilot trial run, if whoever follows, if they have like I'm interested in this kind of topic, then maybe they'll watch it, pass it around. If that gains some traction, then maybe we can make it its own standalone thing.
Yep.
We'll see how it does.
So you'll find us right now. You'll find us on my stream, Ripple FTW on Twitch. Every week we'll do a live stream, and then you will see an edited the next day on YouTube on Amplify Gaming's YouTube page. Till then, I'm Craig. That's Chris over there. Wait, wrong direction. That direction over there. We'll see you guys next week. Have a good night.
All right. See ya.